Okay, so I know this is going to be really awkward because we're just having a conversation and people might listen. That's the classic window chat vibe. But thank you for agreeing to
Isn't
do
that
this.
like what every talk show is, more or less? That like meta, like you're having a conversation, but everyone's listening. I mean, I don't know if you're as popular as like Ellen or Oprah, but I think you're getting there.
Oh, well, Ellen's giving me some tips. Actually, let's go with Oprah. Ellen's in the hot seat right now. So let's stick with Oprah.
Okay.
Oh my God. But I actually think, see, that's funny because I think you could do a talk show based on the classes that I've been taking with you. I think you're hilarious. So,
Oh, thank you.
yeah. Okay, I'm going to give context to how I know you. Danielle and I went to, oh my God, all the way from elementary school, right?
Yeah,
Elementary school together?
I don't remember not knowing you. I'll say that. Like, I literally do not remember when I didn't know you.
I feel that. And it was so funny because as I'm writing your bio the other day, and I thought, okay, I know you from characters, and then I know you from our school, and then I know you from the summer stock class, the camp. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, summer stock, which I don't know if anyone else in the Thornhill area is aware. It's theater camp for the summer, and it was amazing. Oh, and I think we actually would get, because how it would work is they would split. Oh my gosh, they would split the act 1 and act 2. And I think quite often I would be a role in act 1 and you would be that role in act 2 or vice versa. I'm like, Danielle and I, we vibe.
We shared Adelaide in Guys and Dolls.
Yes. Yes.
And I remember feeling like this is a really worthy, like you were act 1 and I was act 2. And I was like, that's a hard act to follow. Like I felt good about myself, but I was like, Robyn's also really good. Like we have a solid partnership going. So
well, it's, you know what? And it's the essence and that voice and like all the character choices that you brought. I'm like, oh, Danielle, like my spirit actor. So that, I thought of that. I hadn't thought of that in ages until I was writing it yesterday. And I thought, what a fun idea for camp. I loved it.
I honestly did the same thing too. I was like, how do I know Robyn? Like I really had to think about it. Like there's people that you remember the exact moment that you met them, you remember what happened. Like I just don't remember not knowing your name.
It's just, you know what it is, Danielle? It was B is for bully. That's what it was. So we were kind of
B is for bully. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you've spoken about this before on Window Chat, but you being that whiteout, it was about bullying, but it was played out. It was like these two parallel worlds, but it was like the real world of the people actually being bullied, like the kids in the class, and then the school supplies had their own like sub world, and that was sort of the main plot of the play. And you, Robyn, were the bully. You were Blanche, the whiteout, the snobby whiteout. You know what I just realized? That's kind of a metaphor, right? Like she would white out other people. Like you would cancel other people because you took up so much space. It's actually really profound.
We were doing cancel culture in elementary school. Whoa.
We were ahead of our time. We were hipsters.
No one has ever described B is for bully as well as you just had. I'm like, I don't know. I was a whiteout and I was a bully. There you go. And wait, Danielle, you were an eraser, right?
I was an eraser.
Almost as evil as whiteout. It's like if it's rock, paper, scissors, there's the whiteout and
the erasers were good though. We were like actually the foils in that we were initially bullied by you, and then I believe we stood up to some of the other characters, and then we sing this song about how glorious it is to have control and to feel the power. So it kind of highlights that other side of, maybe bullies are really looking for power and like a feeling of strength because they don't feel strength within themselves. So they have to get it from outside. It was really a profound play. I don't think
I'm laughing.
Grasped
the way you're describing it sounds amazing. It sounds so good to a point where I'm like, yeah, that is what, but as a child, I'm like, I don't know. Okay. Where are my lines? What are my songs? Awesome. Okay, cool. And then the other kids in the grade see it and they go, what was that? I'm sorry, what was the costume? I'm like, that's fair. I think I had a piece of foam and the heaviest metal whatever coming out of my head and this giant not styrofoam, but foam. I couldn't walk in between the set. It was great.
Yeah.
What was your eraser costume?
I also had like I had like a foam. I remember it was a foam piece that went over my head and it was like, eraser on one side and eraser on the other. And it said Rose. I was Rose. And if you remember Shauna. Shauna was Roberta. We were Roberta and Rose, the erasers. And yeah, you know, it was, the costumes were, I would say, embarrassing for like 5th and 6th graders, but we were so, like, maybe the other kids were embarrassed, but I feel like you and I were like, no, this is, we are whiteout. We are erasers. Like, this is reality. We're gonna like Stanislavski this thing, and the magic if, like, what if I were an eraser? We really, I don't think I knew
seriously
then, but
no,
we did.
Fair.
We took it very seriously. You could tell the kids that were like really into it. You could tell.
Okay, look, the thing is, even if people didn't take it seriously, there were still around 50, 60 people in the cast. So everyone auditioned to be the roles that we had, which is mind-boggling. So at least 60 people were committed and wanted that lead. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
60 people appreciate what we're doing here. There you go.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it was a good time in the end. People complained because I think that, you know, everyone's got to find something to complain about in elementary school and in any show, right? There's always, you have to complain about something. It seems like it's a rule, but I think
wait, I don't remember what they complained about.
They complained about the fact that we were school supplies and it was embarrassing, and that the songs were a little bit cheesy. Like, the songs were about like friendship, and there was a song about difference, like D-I-F-F-E-R-E-N-T. Remember that?
I do. It's a perfectly wonderful, marvelous, absolutely indescribable, simply excellent, totally awesome.
And she actually made us do that, like the last line. It's simply a totally awesome way to be.
Yeah, we all, the choreo, we had to go over it and over it. And it was, I remember her going, da-da-da, pause, very emphasis on the pause. It was very important that we paused at the right moment. When I was talking to someone about V is for Bully, because my character was French, I had to get coached by the French teacher at Associated. So I had private French lessons to nail my 5 French lines.
Yeah, like, can I tell you, I remember a line. You said, I'm blanche. That's French for white. It's très chic, don't you think? I actually remember that. I don't know why. Maybe because it was the French line.
It's, yes, there was also truly très sophistiqué.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that was, that's great. Danielle, I'm very impressed. What are your eraser lines? Do you remember them?
What are my, oh my gosh. It's funny that I don't remember my own, but I remember other people's. What I remember now, like what's sticking out for me the most is that, like, as an adult and as, you know, now an educator myself, like thinking about the commitment of like Miss Bass who did it, like she taught a normal class. Like she had like a normal, you know, full afternoon class. And then she did B is for Bully like 3 times a week and dealt with like 60 crazy 5th and 6th graders. I think there were 4th graders too. So that's what the adult me is saying. Like, wow, good for her that she like took the time to engage us, you know, artistically like that at that age. Cause I don't know if she was paid extra for that. I can't imagine she was.
Can I tell, she had said that play just made me laugh, and it really resonated with me in the sense of it bonded so many of us going forward, all these adults where we can look back and go, we did that together. We got through it. And I ran into her as an adult in whatever store. And I say, oh, you did B is for Bully, and just no recollection. I think maybe it was a mental block. She just did not acknowledge the show. Maybe it's one of those things like, you know, as an actor, you don't put things on your resume. As a teacher, she just doesn't acknowledge it. She tried something and we move on. But yeah.
I think it made a big impact. And I think, I mean, I haven't spoken to every one of those people since the show, but I think that being involved artistically for all of those people, even if it was, you know, being an eraser or a pen or whatever, I think it impacted people positively. I think it probably helped them with their, you know, confidence. And I think that's what arts does for kids. So I don't know. I think it impacted people positively as much as we all make fun of it. I think that it.
I know that's the thing. It's still, I mean, to a point where I remember a lot of songs though, so I don't know if it's that special, but I remember pretty much every song from that show, and I remember everyone kind of it unified us in a way, you know, because I was grade 5, we didn't have, my year didn't end up being grade 6, and then when we're going to the middle school, that was the first time they were doing it. It was kind of like, okay, I don't know the grade 6ers or the grade 7s at the time, but I kind of do because I did a show with them. So yeah, I feel like we're going to be cool. It turned out I was not, but the mentality of going into middle school was better than it would have been had we not done the show. Although I think I lost you by the time B is for Bully came. I think you went to art stuff. Did
Yes, so
you?
I
Yeah.
went
Okay.
to, I was a year ahead of you. I was a grade ahead of you. So for grade 7 and 8, I went to Baythorn, which had like an arts elementary
Yes.
program at the time. So I left day school then. Um, and yeah, it was a good experience. I don't regret that. Like, I really liked Associated. And I remember, interestingly, like thinking, I have good friends here, but someone on the last day actually crying. She was like, I'm never going to see you again. And we weren't even that close. And she just like fell into my arms, gave me this big hug. And I got all teary. And yeah, it was more emotional than I realized.
The teariness, that reminds me of when I went to sleepover camp. And if you know me well, you know sleepover camp. Why did I go there? Great question. No idea. I'm not outdoorsy. It's not my thing.
I did not. I did not go. I
It's
refused. I went
that
to
was
theater
smart.
camp. That's what yeah.
I know I should have really stuck with theater camp from the beginning because dear God. But so my struggles at sleepover camp, whatever, I'm like, there's bugs and I don't understand bunk beds and why am I always outdoors? It was confusing. I was pitched in differently. I was misled. There was no internet that I could search out this camp. It's fine. But at the end, everyone's saying goodbye, and I just get so emotional. I'm like, why am I emotional? I really did not enjoy sleepover camp. This is very confusing. But it's that whole, again, you're just with people and you go, I'll never see you again. And really, like, half the people lived on my street, so I don't know what I was saying. But it was, there is that ending, right? That ending of going, oh, okay, this is so emotional. We'll never be here again, even though I went for 2 years. It was fine. And clearly, oh God, I haven't thought about sleepover. I got to bring back someone for my sleepover camp. This is going to be all.
Those are memories.
Yeah, those are stories. I mean, these are great stories too. I can't believe Associated was sold. I wasn't ready for that one. That's
Wait, what? They sold the
Cayman
school?
branch is now a different. Yeah, it's a different school now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Wow. Yeah. Being in Ottawa, I feel like I'm out of the bubble. I don't know what's going on.
That's fair. Let's discuss Ottawa because your journey to Ottawa is fascinating. Can we share like when people, oh my God, Dave's here. Hi, Dave.
Oh, hi, Dave. Yeah.
That's so exciting. Okay. Okay, as you were, Ottawa. I got distracted.
That's okay. No, it's exciting to have people joining. Journey to Ottawa. Wow, where do I even start?
I don't know.
Okay. So yeah, like this will just stop me or like ask me questions along the way. But basically, people that know me know that pretty much from like age 9 to like 23, I would say, acting was like my entire life. Like that was all I wanted to do. I did a series when I was a teenager. I did, a couple commercials and a lot of auditions where I got rejected, like most actors, right? When you have the conversations, about like, oh, I did such and such thing, I always feel the need to be like, by the way, I also got rejected a lot and cried a lot. Just because I feel that people need to know that it's not, like, wow, that's so cool. And, I was actually teaching not too long ago, like a group of grade 9s, and they literally looked at me, they were like, you used to be on TV. Why would you want to be here with us when you could do that? And I was like, I don't know if you can believe this, but I actually like this better. And they were like, nah, they couldn't fathom it. But anyway, yeah, that was my life. I ended up auditioning for like a bunch of theater schools, and the program that I ended up choosing was the University College Drama Program at the University of Toronto. And I really liked it as a balance for me because I really did want to stick with acting, but at the same time, I have classic Jewish parents who are like, you need to get, an actual degree. You need to do that. So I listened, and I don't think they were wrong. Now that I'm looking back, I am grateful that they made that strong recommendation. And what my parents said it meant a lot to me at that time and still does. Their opinions are important to me. So I went ahead and did that, and it was a great program, and I really liked it. While I was there, though, I was still auditioning also while I was in school when I reasonably could, booking out for exams and all that. But I started to feel like I don't know if I can do this forever, and I don't think any window chat would be complete without, quoting some of our directors. So I remember like Megan and Wayne Davis. Hi, guys, if you see this. I miss you guys. Hi. That, they would say, if you could see yourself doing anything else, go do that instead, right? And I was really starting to feel like I don't know if this is my path. I don't know exactly what my path is, and I was trying to define that for myself. And at the time, like people that know me also know that I've always been very like Jewy. Like I've always been very involved. Like anywhere I go, like people know I'm Jewish. I was always like making the Jewish jokes and the references and like talking about my Jewish family and whatever. Excuse me. Yeah. So people are very aware of that. But I saw Judaism, I guess, as more of a like part of my life. Like, you know, if you're not an elite athlete, for example, like working out is something that you kind of do as part of your life. It doesn't guide your life. You know, if you are, you know, a marathon runner, then yeah, maybe working out is like more central, but it's, you know, sort of, it's just, for most people, it's just something you do, right? It's part of your health. It's part of the overall picture. So I guess, you know, Judaism for me was always that. It was part of the picture and an important part of the picture, but it wasn't sort of like a guiding light that was central to what I did. But I started learning more, like when I was on campus. I got really involved with Hillel, and there was a program where it was really cool. They actually paid us $500
Danielle,
to go to classes.
I love this story. Yeah. You are freezing. I hear you, but your face is sometimes freezing. And I'm just saying that because I love everything you're saying. But I mean, visually, I know you're not as vain as I am, but I don't want you to be like, oh my God, I looked weird. So just so you know, I can hear what you're saying, but it is a little freezy face-wise. So yes. Gotcha. I love the poses though. They're fun. Okay.
They're totally intentional.
I know. I feel like you're making a comedic actor choice, Gil. So you were saying Hillel. I just wanted you to be aware.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, ask me to repeat anything if anything seems fuzzy. So I did this program where they paid us to come and learn. And the idea was that, you know, it would be in place of a part-time job or something, because people in university are working to pay for school or, you know, busy with school stuff. So I guess they figured like that was the incentive. And I was like, cool, like they're going to pay us $500 to come learn and we get food and whatever. I also like really wanted to meet a Jewish guy. That was like something that was important to me. I'm like, maybe I'll meet a Jewish guy at this thing. It's like, where else, you know, you got to go to Hillel. Where are you going to, Hillel is the center for Jewish life on campus. If anyone doesn't know that, I'm like, where else are you going to meet? So yeah, I started learning and I started realizing like, wow, there's a lot of, I have a lot of questions like about life, about, you know, relationships, about, you know, self-actualization. And it seems like there are a lot of really interesting answers in Judaism that I didn't know about. Meaning like when I was in day school, I felt like, okay, like we're learning, you know, Bible studies or whatever, and like we're doing prayers, but I wasn't like connected to it on such a deep level. And coming at it as an adult and learning about it as an adult and speaking to, you know, the people that ran the program about like why they made those life choices. And they were, hi. Are you on Zoom? I am not on Zoom. I'm on Facebook Live. Working from home. That was the husband. He's, yeah, that was my husband, Michael.
No, wait, did I know that he was, my husband's name is Michael.
Yes, yes.
Did we discuss this? Okay, that's his name. I call him Mike. I call him Mike because my dad's name's Michael and it's weird. So he's Mike. Oh,
wow, that is, I hear
it's
that.
Odd. Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
I could see that being weird. Okay, yeah, I call him multiple, like I also call him Yisrael. That's his Hebrew name, which is what I called him when we met in Israel. But you know, often like in Canada, we use our English. I also sometimes use my Hebrew name, but I feel like in Canada / the US, most people know it's my English name. So, what?
But like Danielle? What's your Hebrew
name?
Yeah,
so I mean, my Hebrew name officially, like what I was given at birth, is actually Devorah Yaakova. Devorah, so this is cool. Total side story. I was born on the same day as my great-grandmother, same birthday, which was super cool. So this is my dad's grandmother. So my dad was like, this is so cool. And my great grandmother, her Nana Grace was her name. She was like, this is a sign. This is a sign. And like, she told my mom, you should give Danielle, well, I wasn't Danielle yet, but you should give the baby a Hebrew name after my mother. And her mother was Dobra, which is Yiddish for Devorah. So that's how I got the Devorah part. And then Yaakova is actually the feminine of the Hebrew name Yaakov, and Yaakov was my Zadie's brother. So yeah, cool story behind the name. So yeah, sometimes I go by Devorah. Everyone called me Devorah in Israel also because in Israel, Daniela is a girl's name. Danielle is a boy's name. So when I remember I went for a doctor's appointment when I was very pregnant with my first son. And they were like, you don't have an appointment. And I was like, I do. And they're like, no, we have a Daniel on here. And I was like, oh yeah, so I started using Devora more because it just got really confusing, like with, you know, showing up at the hospital to have a baby and they're like, Daniel's having a baby. Cool. Where was I? Michael,
what
oh
a
yeah,
journey.
Yes. So I did this program and I started getting like really interested in exploring more, and like Judaism started feeling like more of a central part of my life. So at the same time, it wasn't necessarily related. Like I think that people like to make it this dramatic story that like I left the you know, the fancy like acting world, I gave it all up to be like religious, and it's really kind of not how it happens. It just, it happened to be that, you know, around the same time I was having, you know, those sort of complicated feelings about acting and going like, I love this so much, it's always going to be a passion. I don't know if it's going to be a lifestyle. Like, I don't know if I can keep this up. I found the pressure like around body image really problematic. Like for me personally, I was just like, I can fathom that if I prep an audition and, you know, I don't nail it, I can fathom them saying, you know what, that doesn't work. But I can't fathom being told you don't work for me because you're 7 pounds too heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And I did run into that, I think, as a kid, because when I filmed Dark Oracle, I was like 15 and 17. I think that I was sort of sheltered from that. I think people are pretty sensitive, like not to put that kind of stuff on children. And also I happen to be really skinny, so maybe I just didn't feel it. Maybe it does happen. And I just avoided it because I happened to be a skinny kid. But yeah, I just found it really difficult, and I found it like ran really contrary to like also my artistic sensibilities. I'm like, I can't wrap my head around that. So that was something I had a lot of difficulty with. And even in the theater too, like I started to feel, I remember describing this to someone that, you know, theater for me used to be like glossy. Like I felt like it was like a glossy magazine. It was like so exciting, you know, like when you get like a new, I don't know if you get excited to get a magazine, but you know what I mean? Like that gloss, and it started to feel like a magazine without the gloss. I don't know. I wasn't connecting in the same way. I didn't feel like I can make my life this. And I remembered what Megan and Wayne had said, is that if you can see yourself doing anything else, go do that, you know, because you have to be so committed to make it work. And so I started thinking like, why, you know, what is it that drives me? Like, what do I want to do? And I started to realize that it was about the communication and the power of communication. So I'm like, I want to use like what I feel, thank God, is a gift of communicating in ways that are, you know, that maybe reach people, that connect to people. Like people have told me I'm, you know, relatable or whatever. So I feel like I can make those connections. And I'm like, what if I can use that power of communication to affect change, you know, to do something that will make a difference to people. And so that's when I decided to go to teachers college. And that's how I ended up getting a teaching degree. And after that, the teaching world, I don't know what it's like these days, because I'm sort of, anyway, this is a separate story, but I'm not like in an official teaching capacity in Toronto or in Ottawa right now, in terms of like teaching in a school. But, you know, when I graduated, there wasn't much going on. And so I ended up working at Hillel at the University of Toronto, the, you know, Center for Jewish Student Life that I was so involved in. And while I was there, started exploring more. I was there for a couple of years, decided I wanted to go to Israel, and ultimately made the decision to become fully observant Jewishly, which is, it's something I didn't think I would do. Like I said, I was always very, you know, involved in my Judaism, and I cared about it, and holidays were important to me, and it was definitely a value and something that I wanted to, you know, teach my children. But I didn't think that I would, you know, go this far, you know, to marry a rabbi. My husband's a rabbi.
Languages. I don't know. I think I've always just liked languages. So when it came to Hebrew, I'm like, oh, cool, let's learn another language. And I just really, and all the Duke and all the different ways you could conjugate words, I'm like, I'm into this, like some kind of nerd. Like, yeah, let's do it. So
That's good. That's not nerdy. Good for you. You were actually
like, ooh, like, shamarti, shamarta. Look at all these different ways you can phrase this. Okay.
Isn't it amazing that what's nerdy as a child is actually like admirable as an adult? Like now you would look at a kid like that and go, good for them. Good for them that they're like engaged and they care about that.
I think it was also just like, I need to do well. So I'm going to make myself, and it's just like, yes, I have to get 90 and above, because I remember getting an 89 and being like, what is this 8 in front of the number? I don't understand, and just breaking down. It was very unhealthy. I look back, I'm like, dear God, high standards. But it was, it was a nice group of people that you met, and I love the recess area of like run around in a parking lot. I do miss that. That was fun.
Oh yes, recess. I forgot. Yeah, it was a parking lot that we.
Yeah.
Listen, they did what they could do. There's not a ton of funding in Ontario for, private schools that aren't Catholic. So remember there was that whole movement for a while to like fund all of the religious schools?
Yeah, that didn't work.
That worked. No. So yeah. So they did what they could. Good for them. And listen, we had lots of room to run. Sometimes you'd scrape your knee on the pavement, but like cool. The school nurse was very nice. Building. Yeah. She always had pop. I remember she'd give you like ginger ale when she fixed your knee. I always appreciated that. Maybe I just got pop. I don't know. You didn't get pop?
Yeah, I'm thinking, Danielle, I think we had different school experiences. Okay, so Danielle's getting like, you're in the special room, people are fanning you, and you're just like, Robyn, here's a handful of ice. Go, figure it out.
Maybe they knew I was destined to be, an actor in my teens. So, but you'd think they'd know that about you too. I don't know.
Oh no, I don't know. I just really like performing, but I love these. It's all the people from Associated that I'm like, that were so into the arts, and they were just my people. So I think that's part of why you resonated with me too. I'm like, she gets it. She's serious about it. I don't even know if we were officially like play date friends, but I'm like, I knew who you were, and I loved how committed you were to your craft.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, same. Yeah, I don't think we were play date friends, and I'm so glad we've reconnected now. Like I was saying to my husband, like when you came to my my chocolate circle class, I like bounced downstairs and he's like, you're happy. And I'm like, one of my people came, like I mean, they're all my people. Listen, all these ladies are my people, the people that come to my chocolate circle class. By the way, it's a Wednesday night Jewish like learning class for women. And we also bond over chocolate. It used to be in person, but with COVID, it's bring your own chocolate virtually. But yeah. So
but the chocolate for Danielle has to be dairy free.
Yes, thank you. Dairy free. Yeah, sensitive stomach over here. Also useful if because I keep kosher, so like if you've had a meat meal, you don't eat dairy right after, so also useful for that to have dairy free chocolate, as an FYI.
Your body was making sure you kept kosher. There you go.
Yeah, but just having like people, I realized this very recently, having people in my life that like share similar passions to me, that like get me, that get my unique brand, I think, of weirdness that only theater and arts people really can get. It's very energizing. It's very energizing because, like, listen, I'm at a phase in my life where, like, thank God I have a lot of blessings. I think that it's harder to like feed those artsy parts of me. I've got 2 small children who I love to pieces. And it's, it's a lot. It's busy. I'm working. So yeah, to have these outlets is super important. So
well, I also saw you made such a cute video with your hubby, and like, oh, Danielle's still being creative. It was so great.
Yeah, so that was there was a contest. So like for the Jewish holiday of Purim, there's like a tradition to make funny things to like make people laugh. So people do skits, and people tend to do like plays and stuff in person that are funny, like people get together and perform them. But COVID, that wasn't going to happen, so they had a video contest at one of the local synagogues, and my husband and I made a sarcastic / funny video about how to be the perfect parent. Obviously the punchline being that we were not perfect at all. We were very far from it. You can check it out.
Wait, did you win? It was funny. It was good.
We came in 3rd place. We won a Shabbat dinner from the local caterer. It was very exciting.
Whoa, that is a bronze medal. Olympics are coming up. You placed. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, who won? What did they do? What did the winner do? Do they know someone? Is that what happened? Is it nepotism? I don't like that.
I'm trying to remember what the
other Danielle, I'm totally kidding. It's okay.
They were very funny though. They were all funny. They were well done.
So, well, that's good. I mean, I don't like when someone wins when they shouldn't. That makes me very upset.
I think it was very fairly judged. We had a good panel, and I think, yeah.
I'm not used to fairness in the industry. It's very confusing. So I'm like, good, nice, good, respect. The one other thing I wanted to say that I think you're still doing an awesome job at is your humor. And when I think this is how, I was trying to remember how I reconnected. And I think you were doing stand-up, not just stand-up. It was stand-up on Zoom. And I'm just sitting here, one of the many boxes, just taking in everything you're doing. And stand up alone is hard. But you're like, not only that, I'm going to deliver it to a bunch of random boxes. Everyone's audio is off. Half of the videos are off, if not more. And I'm just going to go. I'm going to deliver it. I'm like, that is so brave. And it was so funny. You had this whole story about giving birth. And I'm like, oh my God, this was great. I love this material. It was so great. It was so funny.
Yeah, I don't know, because it was all women, like it was a women's group, I felt comfortable telling that story. I don't know that I would like to have delivered that to like an audience where guys were listening too, but yeah, I feel like there's a safety in that. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't know I did comedy. I don't know if we talked about this. So I went to like an arts high school too. We did a unit on stand-up comedy, which I enjoyed. Yeah. And I liked it, but whatever. We each did a 2-minute bit. They had us at Yuck Yucks in Toronto, which was really cool. We all got 2 minutes on stage, and it was fun. And like I enjoyed it, and you know, people laughed, and I was thankful that I didn't totally tank. And I just didn't really think about comedy. My family, we like jokes, we like humor, we always have, but I don't know. I never really thought about it. And then when I was in Israel, so I ended up going to Jerusalem, to Israel, to like do more Jewish learning. In like 2014, 2015. And I met Sharon Katz, who's super cool. She's the one that ran that Zoom program. And she's originally, I think, somewhere in the States. I don't remember exactly, but she runs a like production company and does all kinds of like plays and films and like just like tons of stuff all over Israel. And I thought she was awesome. We met her. She came to speak at my school where I was learning. And I was like, I have to have coffee with you. So she met me for coffee. And I was like, I just thought she was awesome. And then she says, listen, I'm doing this showcase of like women performers, like women who are like exploring their Judaism and also like perform, you know, you have to perform, like this is so you. And I was like, cool, maybe I'll do a monologue or something. Anyway, she messages me a week later and says, so I told them you're doing stand-up. And I was like, when did I say I do stand-up? And she's like, listen, you tell funny stories. Like your stories are funny. So just get up on the stage, tell your stories, and people will laugh. And she's like, listen, it's an audience of like 80 women. It's like 80 women like in the Jewish community. Like they will be forgiving. Don't worry. Like just go for it. And so I put together a bunch of stories about like being like awkward Canadian in Israeli culture, because I like had a bit of a culture shock when I got there. And it went really well. And then when I went, you know, I mentioned on that holiday Purim, people do funny stuff. So my school had people doing like performances, and they're like, do that comedy that you did. That sounded great. I wish I would have seen it. Do it for the school. So I did it for the school. And then the next year they asked me to do more comedy. And then when, like now that I'm in Ottawa, I help run a program called the Jewish Women's Network. And we decided, okay, like let's do an exchange with Israel, like a cultural exchange with their women's network over there where I performed the first time. And so we did this Zoom exchange. And so that is how I ended up doing comedy on Zoom. But yeah, I agree. It's crazy because you can't see like so much, any performer knows so much of the experience is the feedback that you're getting, right? If you see like something isn't working or something's working really well, right? Like you continue down that path. If it's not working, maybe you change gears or you stop that joke, you quit because it's just not, it's not flying, right? And you don't have that feedback. So I just kind of went for it. And I was like, all right, just gonna see how this goes. And yeah, so that's how I do comedy. I didn't know I do comedy, but apparently I do comedy.
People tell me I'm funny, so I tell a story and they laugh. There you go. That's Danielle's journey to comedy.
Yeah, like it's so interesting how that happened.
Well, you
like
say
I feel like God sometimes
so
puts you in places for a reason.
It's so amazing. Yeah, okay. So just get up, and if anyone hearing this story goes, oh yeah, okay, someone told me I should do stand up, so I did stand up. That's not how life works, Danielle. You're just like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take this on myself and do it. People do not. People would say no, find someone else, and you said no, I'm gonna do it. See what happens. And it's so amazing because I'd like to think your acting background helps you a bit, but the confidence of just going up there, knowing you've never done it, and yes, I might bomb, whatever, and going up and just owning your stories. Oh, I wish I could have been there. That would have been fun.
I think what helped for me and what really changed, I guess, sort of from becoming more like religiously involved is that I don't feel so alone now when I perform. Like I felt like it used to be when I auditioned and I went into a room, it was me and I was bare and I was being judged. And now I think of it as like God gives everybody unique talents and things to do. And sometimes we're aware of them and then we should try to use them. Other times, God sends us people to point them out. And it's our job to sort of use what we're given to try to make the world the best place we can. And so for me, I was like, okay, this lady has a performance background. She's a director. She has years and years of experience. And she's saying, I can do this. Maybe this is an untapped gift. And so I just prayed. I was like, God, help me bring joy to people. Help me be funny if I'm meant to be. If I'm not meant to be, then it won't work out. And so it wasn't, I felt like I was more channeling something, channeling a gift, as opposed to it being about me and my ego, if that makes any sense. Especially because it was in Israel. I really got the chance to redefine myself because nobody knew me. So I'm like, great, if I suck, I'm, and people, I think it's a very forgiving culture too. People in Israel are used to, times of war and serious stuff, so things aren't as big a deal. I feel like in North America, people focus more on small things and are more concerned about image and all these things. And if you meet people in Israel, they're a lot more this is who I am, take it or leave it, So I think I really kind of went with that, and thank God it worked out. I've also tried things, like I said, with auditions, the tank, I've tried things in life that really haven't worked, but that's not always a bad thing. I think a lot of times we're so afraid to fail. We don't want to look bad or weird or have shame, but I think the only shame would be in not trying. If that makes sense.
Danielle, this was such an amazing piece of advice for actors and for anyone. And oh my God, this is why I come to your classes, because it doesn't feel like it's a religious chat. It's just a practical life chat. I'm like, oh, I felt so inspired. Okay, if I don't get that next audition, it's because God didn't want me to get it, not that I did a bad job. That's what it's going to be. That's going forward. It's okay, God. I know. We'll figure it out. We'll have a chat. Oh my God, fascinating outlook. I sounded sarcastic, but actually, I really did feel. I'm like, this sounds really sarcastic. Okay, you feel that I'm sincere? Is it coming from? I think I'm still absorbing it. I'm like, that is such an interesting. Because when you would used to go in the room before the self tape, you go, okay, it's just me. All right, here we go. But it's okay, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. This is my prep. Let's maybe a redirect and see ya. There you go. That's cool. Right. I like it.
I heard a phrase in dating, because, dating is hard for anybody, but I remember hearing this. I happened to be in a group of friends that was all dating at the same time. And someone told me the phrase, rejection is God's protection. And I was like, whoa. And that just blew my mind. They say a door closes and a window opens or whatever it is, but it's sort of a variation on that, meaning we so often see rejection or things not working out as a bad thing, but sometimes we just need to let go and realize okay, maybe that isn't my path. Maybe this isn't good for me. It's not to say, X guy is not a good guy, but maybe he's not my guy. And, maybe God's helping me see that, or, the fact that he's not interested in me is showing that we're not a match. You know what I mean?
I have to send so many friends your way. This is just the best advice. Well, it's hard though. It's hard to not take things personally, right? And that's, the struggle is real, especially when it's online dating and you just kind of don't hear back from people. So I'm very fortunate that I'm married, because I don't know what my profile will be. I don't know. Here's my actor's access. Here you go. That's my resume. I don't know what this stuff is. It's confusing. Yeah.
I think hookup culture is a huge problem too, because it really doesn't, listen, I can't speak for anybody's relationship. Maybe there have been a lot of successful relationships that have come out of that. But I feel like when people are going in and it's about, looks and attraction and, just having fun, that's not really what leads to necessarily a good long-term relationship. But if you go in saying, okay, I want to talk about kids and I want to talk about my values and the kind of home I want to have, generally people are like, whoa, that's that's a lot. You're coming on a little strong. And it's okay, but if I want to get married and that's a goal, then maybe you don't talk about that in the first 5 minutes, but that is kind of a conversation I want to have. If we've been dating for a year and a half, talking about kids is not crazy because that's a goal, So that was probably one of the differences I found too in like the religious dating world, is that you kind of get like right down to business. Like obviously, you know, again, like not in the first 5 minutes, but like you talk about your values and like what's important to you and what you want, and hooking up is not a thing. And
I'm laughing because you say you shouldn't do it. And I think the first date I had with my husband, I was just like, here I am, lay it out. I just was so intense. I was the most, and I hope he's watching this, or at least I'll tell him, I'm like, just the most intense person. And he took it very well. I'm like, yeah, cool. This is the one. Awesome. Because it was, I hate wasting my time.
You knew on the first date. I'm actually really similar also. I was like kind of like take it or leave it. Like I really
this is
put
me,
a lot out
there you go. Yeah.
But
it was, you know what
it might
it was?
have taken 5 minutes though. It's
not even that. I knew it was just kind of like this vibe you get and you go, okay, whoa, he's not scared of the intensity that is me. But it was just kind of the conversation and the way he carried himself, and then just it felt so easy. I'm like, oh my God, is it supposed to be easy? This is so confusing. Am I like supposed to feel relaxed and able to be myself? Okay, cool. I think I like him. And then you kind of process it. You need to, you know, it's not like the first date, hey, we're married, but it was nice. I haven't thought about that in a while. This is why we have the chat. Yeah.
It gives me warm fuzzies.
You know what? It was our 6-year anniversary last week, so I guess that's part of why it's in my head. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
That's really exciting. Congrats.
So
wow, 6 years. Yeah, we're coming up to 5 years actually. So
whoa.
I got married the year before us.
I guess so. I had to beat you to the punch. That's no. We were together for over 10 years already. So I'm like,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you like know each other super well.
It's
like you knew what you were getting into. It was not like a gamble so much.
No. I mean, I feel like it's still, I don't know how you feel with your husband, but there's still new things I learn about him every day. And I go, fascinating. Let's study you. Why are you doing that? And then like, oh, interesting choice.
See, that's such an actor way to put it. It's like this character. It's like living with a character for the rest of your life. It's like, it's super fun. You can, you do. And I think like if your relationship is like, I guess in a healthy place, then you kind of should always be learning new things. I don't know. I mean, I've only been married like 5 years.
I will say that a rabbi's wife said our relationship is in a healthy place. I will tell Mike that. I like that.
Listen, I'm no relationship expert, but.
No. We are going to say you're a relationship expert and that we are in a healthy place. I like that. That's
okay. You can, if that helps you, then.
It just sounds good during the pandemic when there's a time I'll be like, I know we're having a little riff right now, but let's riff. Yeah, riff sounds cool. Be like, but we're still okay. We're cool. Yes, this is getting off topic because I still want to promote you and I'm aware we have like very little time left. So Danielle, let's discuss all the awesome things you're doing, how everyone can find you, and I will tag everything accordingly.
Wow, thank you. Okay. So yeah, I am in Ottawa. I work for JET Ottawa, which stands for Jewish Education Through Torah. We're a community organization that just tries to get people involved in the Jewish community in diverse and meaningful, inspirational ways for them. So one of the things I do, Robyn was talking about, is run this chocolate circle for women. Normally it's live in the Ottawa area, but right now it's kind of like people can join us. We've had people joining us from the US, from Toronto, from Montreal. So yeah, it's a little more open at the moment because things are over Zoom. So in July, July 4th to 9th, we have a week-long like Jewish learning extravaganza. It's for all levels, all stages. I'm teaching a class called Prayer as Self-Care, which I'm excited about, not just because it rhymes, but yeah, like, teaching how to connect to prayer and how it can be meaningful for everybody. We've got an interesting guest, Rabbi Mordechai Becher, who's been with us actually a couple years for the program, and he's doing like a virtual tour of Jewish Italy, which I think sounds really cool, and like Jewish Japan over Zoom. So yeah, you can check us out online, and if you're interested in joining my women's class on Wednesdays at 8:30, we're pretty much every Wednesday, you're welcome to join us.
I like that. Yeah. I was thinking of Jewish Italy. Have you ever seen that synagogue there? That great synagogue?
I have not.
It was in Rome, I think. Oh, okay.
Never mind. Kind of on my list of like places I want to go. I don't know when. I feel like things during the pandemic just seem so like that'll never happen, but like someday,
There you go.
Yeah. This is just so nice to read. It's also nice to have a conversation that doesn't have like a direct, like, I feel like so much of what we do on Zoom is like, there is a purpose to this meeting, you know? And this is just like, it's catching up. And I'm excited to be on window chats because I've seen it like pop up a couple times. And it's kind of, I feel like I'm sort of catching up with other people, like by watching the window chats. And I think during the pandemic, when people are feeling isolated, it's just a great way to keep people together. So I saw that and I was like, this is great. This is like an informal schmooze where but kind of profound things come up. Like, I think we touched on a couple profound things in this meeting, and that made me happy.
You definitely left us with some great points. I love how I could have said window schmooze with Robyn, but that would only be two people understanding what schmooze meant. So window chat.
Not a generic word now. I feel like if I said anything that needs translating, let me know, because I feel like I've been so involved in the Jewish world for so long that I forget like what's a Jewish community word and what is like a normal word that like other people would understand.
I think you said
come on. Schmooze? Actors schmooze? Is that not a thing that people say? I was schmoozing with the director. You wouldn't say that?
Well, now I want to. Now I'm definitely going to bring that. I have a clubhouse thing tonight. I'm like, guys, we're all here to schmooze. And then I want to see how that resonates. And then I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, schmooze? What is that? There's a silent Q? Like, I don't understand this word. Like, guys.
Listen, you could start it. How many words get started from one person saying it and then it,
Yeah, we're going to make fetch happen. There you go. That's an homage to Mean Girls.
I love that I got that reference. I wonder how many generations it's going to take before those references just don't fly anymore.
Well, they're also making the certain things that they're bringing back, or they redo it, or they make it into a musical, and then it just, certain iconic things I think are going to stay. So
yeah, I think it's going to be around for a while.
This is going to happen when we're in our 80s, Danielle. I'll be like, I said on Wednesdays we wear pink, and no one understood it, and then I'll be.
And at that point, you could probably just teleport over to me for coffee, and we can talk about it over coffee.
There you go.
I actually had a thing with I had a thing with my baby for a while where he would like cry anytime I left the room, and I started saying, I'm like, it's not my fault you're like in love with me.
Oh my God.
And my husband and I would giggle like every time, and yeah.
Oh, that is, of course you're making parenting hilarious. I honestly, if there was an option, if you were open to doing a reality show, you would kill, because you're just so you and so fun. I know this is like so opposite of anything.
Maybe I'd be a more patient parent, like if I knew there was a camera. I am not, I think I have a good sense of humor about it, but yeah, I am by no means like a iconic parent, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe other people would disagree, but parenting's like really hard, and no one really warns you. Like they say, oh, it's the biggest job you'll ever have, but no one really warns you. But it's great.
This is a warning. Okay. Warning. Just get like really close to the camera.
No, I would do it 100 times over. I mean, not that I want 100 kids, not like that 100 times over. But meaning I would go through what I did for my two boys 100 times over, because they are very worth it, even though it's really hard sometimes.
That was lovely. Danielle, okay, I know we said 12:50 and now it's 12:52.
Awesome.
The struggle is real.
Good. This was
I'll see you Wednesday.
Great chat.
Okay.
And yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I think this is my first such show that I've participated in.
You did great.
Is exciting. This is an honor. Okay, cool. Okay. Well, I hope to see you soon online. I feel like if I actually see you in person, I'm not gonna know what to do. I'm gonna like touch your face and be like, is she real? You know what I mean? I'm like used to seeing you in a box.
I might just go like this, because I'm used to muting myself while you talk, so you'll know that you have the floor.
Yes, but one day an in-person hug. In the meantime, on Zoom. Thanks. I see people are watching, so thanks to everyone who tuned in. I'm honored that you would want to hear what I have to say. So
Danielle, you're fascinating. People want to know what's going on. You have such a cool journey. Okay, so don't think you're not interesting. I think you're fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing some stories, sharing your time, And yeah, guys, check out everything that Danielle promoted, and I'll link to the stuff. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Robyn. Virtual hugs.
No worries.
Okay, bye.
Bye.